Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. It's a little bit rainy here in Lisbon, but I thought before I get into too many vlogs about the Bellissima, I better tell you what I loved and what I hated about the MSC Seaside. Okay, hated is going to be a bit of a strong word because overall it's more of inconvenience than hate. So let me state that there's nothing really that I absolutely loathed and hated about the MSC Seaside. But there are some things that I wish they would change. Number one is I wish they would change the fact that you can't pre-register your credit card. You have to get on board, go to one of the little machines and register with your credit card at one of the machines using your onboard card. You just can't register ahead of time like you can for almost every other cruise line. And that creates long lines at these machines because you're supposed to do it within the first 2 days of being on the cruise. And top that off with the long lines already started at the customer service on every embarkation day. It just adds to chaos and confusion on the ship that really doesn't need to be there because you should be able to pre-register ahead of time. Number two, speaking of the cards, even after you pre-register your card, even if you have the drink package, you have to sign for every single thing that you order. So they have these little iPad type gadgets, little tablets, and they punch in your order and then they go get your order and then they come back and they have to get you to sign for it. Even if you have the drink package, which is unlimited drinks, or even the soda package, just for a can of pop, you have to sign, which just causes longer transaction. If you go to some other cruise lines, you show them your card, they scan it, they give you back your card, they hand you your drink. You don't have to wait for them to punch anything into the tablet and then print out the stuff and get a signature on it. It really is an inconvenience that really doesn't need to be there, because my number three thing is they need more people at the bars. The main bar in the main Piazza area and then the casino bar are two of the most busy bars that are there, because first off, you have people trying to, on their way to the shows, they're stopping to pick up a drink in the casino, and they're just picking up a casino, or they're in the casino and they want drinks. Second of all, you have the main bar on deck 5, which is where you go to get most of your drinks and your cappuccinos in the morning and things like that. They have a couple people working this huge long 60-foot long bar, and there's like two guys over here and one guy over here, and that's it. Meanwhile, there can be 50 people lined up here at this bar on a busy day. You need more bartenders at these bars, especially if you're going to make a sign for every single thing that we order. So please get a couple more. It's only 2 bars out of the whole complex: the casino bar and the main Piazza bar. They need more staff, especially during the busy times. We should not have to stand there trying to flag somebody down amongst 50 people around us, and it should not take me a half hour to order a can of Pepsi or a can of Diet Coke in this case. While we're on the Piazza, it is a beautiful, anyone who sees those staircases with the crystals embedded, it's an absolutely gorgeous setup. They have 3 screen tiers on different decks where they can have performers up there and dancing during the disco parties and all kinds of things that can go on, but it's very narrow. And so it's like because that bar is taking up a good chunk of that area, most of it in fact, they have performances there where they'll bring out some of the dance performers from the shows and they'll put on a performance there, but they don't have a whole lot of room to maneuver. Not only that, there's not a lot of room to look at them. So when you're up on the other decks, I'm basically looking just straight down. And that's what I see. I see the top of their heads, and that's about it. And because it's such a narrow area of viewing, there's no expanse where you can step back and get an angled view unless you're on the ground. And if you're on the ground, you have all those people lined up at the bar, and then you have people in the seats, and then people are standing up in front of them. It really is not a great design choice. It's a beautiful area, but as far as putting on performances there, doesn't really work. Second last thing that I disliked was the amount of storage in the cabins. The closet area is very small. A good chunk of it is taken up by some drawers. There's a stepping stool area inside there which puts up room if you're trying to put anything in. If you happen to have a bed that's beside the closet, it's like a 6-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch space that you're trying to maneuver yourself into to get there. There's really not a lot of room. I would have preferred the bed to be just pulled out a little bit further and the couch closer to the balcony if I had to. Rooms are gorgeous, just needed a little bit more storage. And the last thing is the buffet area. The buffet is a large area, lots of places to sit down, and the food there was actually really good. I liked almost all the food that I had in the buffet. Trouble is, there's not much. There's not much choices there. There's 2 places for bread. There's a huge salad and fruit area, and then there's the pizza and hot dog and fries area. The hot dogs and fries, by the way, you can get in 2 different areas. The main zone, and then the kids zone, which serves almost the exact same food, except it'll throw in fish sticks. So you basically have all that is repetitive. And then you'll have an ethnic food area, you'll have a rotisserie area, and you'll have a soup and sandwich area, and each one is offering about 3 things to choose from. So the assortment of food, and it just seemed to almost be the exact same kind of food every single day. There was no real variety. There was no like a Mexican day, and then there would be, you know, a German food day or a British food day or an American day. There was no variety along those lines, and basically I ended up having the pizza, and once in a while I would try and find a potato of some kind, because other than that there just really wasn't a whole lot of choice. They really need to make a variety of food available in the buffet. Okay, were you expecting more? Were you expecting a much longer list? Well, no, and those things are just quibs, like the size of the Piazza. How much does that affect my enjoyment of the cruise? Not a whole lot, right? Storage, you can work it out. You can figure out where to put your stuff. That's not a big deal. Buffet, that's a little bit more of a big deal. The inconvenience of having to sign for everything, a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's not going to ruin my cruise. Now the things that I really did love about the Seaside, and how much it's changed since those first reports came out when she launched the first month. She got nothing but bad reviews. Like, people hate it on that ship, and it made a lot of people scared off. So I'm hoping that this video might have you reconsider booking on the MSC Seaside. Number 1 is the shows. The shows have changed. When she first launched, she was almost all opera. 5 out of 6 shows were opera. So they've completely changed that up. They have British Showman song, they have a lot of modern song, they've mixed in juggling acts, magic act, contortionists, so they've really done a really good job of mixing up their shows and entertainment, and the dancing is really good. So I don't have a problem with the shows, and shows are a big part of my cruise. If they have bad shows, I'm not going to have a good cruise, and I enjoyed the shows on board. So they've completely changed. Don't think it's all opera anymore. It's much more suited to a wide variety of people's entertainment, and I had a really good time in the shows. Here's one that had me worried. The comedy shows, on there it's improv. It's not a stand-up comedian. And after seeing some stand-up comedians that were sort of on a couple of my cruises, one in particular, I found myself wanting more of the improv. I went to all the improv shows except the family one. I went to the adult shows because they were right after the Broadway shows. And I laughed my head off. I had a really good time. The comedians were on point. They were able to interact perfectly with the subject matter, and they had audience participation. What I liked about the audience participation is they didn't force you. They asked for volunteers. It wasn't a surprise like you'll go to some shows where it's a comedian and a magic act, and next thing you know you're up on stage because you caught an apple that the guy threw from the stage. So this is all volunteer, and it really was quite funny. The look of the ship. The ship is basically glass and chrome, and it's absolutely beautiful inside and out. I thought it was well designed as far as the look of the ship. I really thought the Piazza is quite nice. I like the restaurant designs, the theming that they had. All the specialty restaurants we were inside were absolutely beautiful, and so the actual looks of the ship were great. And while I'm on the subject of the restaurants and food, the food on board was fantastic because I ate at 4 of the specialty restaurants, did not have a single bad meal in any of them, as well as I ate one night in the main dining, and I've ate many nights in the buffet. And quite honestly, I can't think back to a meal that I went, yeah, no, I don't really like that. Again, in the buffet, I wish there was a lot more assortment, but as far as the taste of the food and the food quality, everything was really, really good, which was a very big sticking point to people when she first launched. So I'm happy to say that things have changed. Number 5 is the fun zone. This is the place where you have the bowling alley, the arcade gun 4D theater, you have the F1 Formula racing, and video games of all kinds. And this is an extra cost. You have to pay extra. The more you spend, the more money you get worth of credits. Like it's a bonus, right? If you spend $30, you get $5 more. If you spend $50, you get $15 more, etc., etc., etc. But quite honestly, it's in one area of the ship, and it's fun to do these things. And let's be frank. If bowling was free on the cruise ship, you would never get near the bowling alley. It would be jam-packed. You would never be able to get near it. The same with the Formula One simulator. The same with the 4D theater. So for people who say, well, it should be included in the price of my cruise, it should be free, just think about it. You would never, ever, ever get near it. They would have to have 50 machines because you got 4,500 people on those ships. 600 of them are kids. They're going to be jam-packed in this the whole day if it didn't cost you anything. So myself, I thought the price point wasn't too bad, and I enjoyed it. Tony and I went bowling, we did the F1 simulator, we did the 4D. We had a pretty fun time. It was something that on a sea day, it's just something a little different than sitting up on deck. You can get out and just have a good time. Number 6, while I wasn't able to go into the kids zones, I did interview some kids on board, and the kids couldn't speak highly enough. I met some parents there, and we talked a little bit, and we were talking about the kids clubs, and they said they had a hard time getting their kids out of the kids club. The kids knew when it was going to be open, and they would be bugging them about an hour ahead of time. They wanted to get to that kids club. So that's a really good sign. Plus they love the aqua park. The aqua park with the ropes course, the splash zone area, the water slides. The kids just were thrilled, and it was packed the whole time we were there, and it's supervised. They did have lifeguards on duty as well in the area. So you can have that little bit of security while you're on board. But the kids just absolutely seem to love everything geared towards kids on this cruise. Number 7, the staff. Now, it took a little while to get used to because, for instance, when I'm on a Princess cruise and I go up to the buffet and I'm sitting there and I grab my breakfast, inevitably somebody's walking over very shortly and say, would you like some coffee? Would you like some juice? I'll say, oh, I'll have a glass of orange juice, please. He'll walk away. Another lady will come up and say, oh, can I get you a drink? It's that quick. They're always attentive. They're always there. MSC Seaside has it set up a little differently. On the tables, there's a little button. And if you want a drink of any kind, you press the button and a waiter will come over and take your order. That's how they work there. They're not constantly coming up and talking to you and asking you if you want stuff. They'll just wait for you to signal them. In a way, I kind of like that. I'm not going to say that I don't like the attentive service of Princess, by no means. But if you're having a conversation with people and you're into your conversation, you don't necessarily want to be interrupted. But if you want a drink, you press the button and you know someone's coming. So that's not bad. The staff themselves were always polite and very courteous. I didn't have any issues with anybody on board anywhere on the ship. So staff, thumbs up. Number 8, you all know I'm not much of a drinker. I'm a soda pop guy. So when I get on board a ship and I have a drink package or something and I go to a bar and I say, yes, I'd like a can of Diet Pop, please. And they pop open a can and then they pour me a glass and put the can over here half full and give me that glass. That's annoying. I want that can of pop. On the MSC Seaside, they give you the whole can of pop. No questions. In fact, I could order 2. I could order 3 cans of pop on my soda package. I didn't have to just order 1 or fill up 1 soda can glass, wait 5 minutes and fill it up again. I like that. I like getting those full cans. Why we let the cruise lines get away with pouring us a small glass of pop and then putting the can aside for somebody else? That's a strike. I like the MSC for this. Full cans of pop. Number 9, the shore excursions ran really smoothly. We all usually met in the theater. It was divided up into sections of where you're supposed to be. Everyone had your number. They would call you out. They would lead you, not back up through the crowd of people, but along the side and out the side corridor. So the theater was always emptying forward and not coming back into the crowd. So it actually ran really, really smooth when we got outside the ship. It was easy to find where we were going. You never were once going, okay, which shore excursion is mine? No, they led you right out and pointed you in the direction of where you had to go. So shore excursions were run really, really well. And if you remember the reports on those first couple weeks of the launch, they said people were lost all over the place, had no idea what they were doing. Well, growing pains, I guess, because they certainly seemed to know what they were doing this time. Top it off for the MSC Seaside, let's just say everything that you heard about the MSC Seaside, those first months of launch, the smell, the aroma from the sewer thing that they had at the beginning, the poor staff, the bad food, the opera, throw it all out the window. Just toss it completely out the window, because I didn't experience any of that really anywhere on the ship. There was one point where I was walking through the casino and all of a sudden I hit this sewery smell. But then it was just gone and I didn't smell it again. So I don't know if it was a sewery smell or a passenger, if you know what I mean, that I just happened to pass by. But other than that, there was no issues for me on the ship. My cabin was beautiful. Lots of room for me. Beautiful ship. I had tons of fun. It was clean and the price point was very good and the food was very good, and I loved the shows, including the improv comedy, which I thought I would not. So if you're asking my opinion, is MSC Seaside worth taking a look at? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. I would give it, set your expectations to a normal cruise, and I think you'll have yourself a really good time. Well, I hope you like this update on the MSC Seaside. Some of the things I disliked, most of the things I did love. You can see the things I liked is far longer than the things I disliked, and the things I disliked are kind of an annoyance more than oh my god, that's horrible kind of a situation. So would I sail on the MSC Seaside again? Yes, I definitely would. And if I would, that must mean it's not too bad. So considering I pay full price for it, just like you do. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for the MSC Seaside. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, hit that subscribe button, because coming up soon, you're going to get more tips from beautiful, sunny Portugal. All right, it hasn't been that sunny, but they're coming anyway. If you want to see more of those vlogs, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.